Hello, dear children. Let's begin with Chapter 2 from Unit 1. On to the summit, we reach the top by Tenzing Norgay. Tenzing Norgay was a Nepali Indian Sherpa mountaineer. He reached the summit of Mount Everest along with Edmund Hillary on 29th May 1953. They were the first two individuals known to reach the summit. This is a brief essay where Tenzing describes the climb to the top. So, students, in this article, Tenzing Norgay says that when they left Camp 9, that is on Friday morning, he decided and was determined that he would reach the top of the highest or tallest mountain, that is Mount Everest, even if he dies, though it was tough and challenging. He says that he was not afraid. He says that he and Hillary set out or started from Camp 9 to the peak. In the beginning, Tenzing took the lead and then Hillary, and both of them alternated their places. The anchor is the person who follows the other when climbing, and the man in the lead or front cuts the steps and breaks the way. So Tenzing says that sometimes he would take the lead and sometimes Hillary. Tenzing says that in his pocket he had 4 flags. When they were still at Camp 4, Colonel Hunt gave him 3 flags. They were of Britain, United Nations and Nepal. He gave him duty to plant it on the top or peak. Tenzing told Colonel Hunt that he was carrying Indian flag and would like to be on the top with it, and Tenzing asked his permission to Colonel Hunt because he was the leader of expedition, and he said that he was happy. Tenzing says that after 1 hour they moved towards west side from the south side. They passed through steep line of rocks. They moved slowly because it was tough, but then they saw there was snow-covered incline. The last 60 or 70 feet was not very dangerous, but they kept the same steady pace and reached the summit. When Hillary and Tenzing were moving 20 feet apart, they both were tied together with a rope, and this acted as a symbol of team spirit and togetherness. They were not different. Many times people asked who was the first to reach the summit. But Tenzing says he didn't thought about this, that who would reach first, and same with Hillary, because there were other worries too. The only target was they both should reach on the top anyhow, and they had to help each other for that. If they had the distance of 1,000 feet between them, they could have claimed that he was the first to reach. Tenzing says when they reached Kathmandu, a lot of controversies had arisen, and Colonel Hunt, Hillary, and Tenzing had a lot of discussion on this topic and agreed that all this was childish. So they made a pact or agreement and signed in Nepal's Prime Minister's office, and each one signed his own statement. He says that he had a copy of Hillary's statement which he carried in his pocket. It read like this: Kathmandu, June 22, 1953. On 29th May, Tenzing Sherpa and I, here I means Hillary, left for Mount Everest. They climbed upwards to South Summit and crossed over south and moved the summit ridge. Ridge means long, narrow piece of raised land. They almost reached together and embraced each other. Embraced means to hug each other on their success. I, that is Hillary, took photograph of Tenzing holding the flags of Great Britain, Nepal, United Nations and India. This was signed by Hillary. There was another paper like this which was signed by Tenzing, and he remembers that they had bulky equipments with them and oxygen masks to carry. Now, the next description in this article is about Tenzing's first thought. Here, Tenzing says about his first thought on reaching the top of the mountain. He says that after reaching on the top, his first thought was his sense of gratitude towards God, because he reached there after failing 6 times. He says that God blessed him by fulfilling his desire. He also placed on the summit the offerings to God. These offerings were biscuits, candy, and a little blue pencil which his daughter Nima gave him. Then Tenzing got out the flags which he had on a piece of string. He fastened one end to his ice axe, and Hillary took pictures and he held it up. Tenzing also says that both of them, that is, Tenzing himself and Hillary, couldn't even quench their thirst after the climb, as the water in the containers had frozen. Also, he says that the red scarf had been given to him a year earlier, on 28th May, by his friend Lambert, when they were standing at 28,215 feet. Lambert was the leader of 1952 Swiss expedition. Tenzing had worn the scarf during the climb with Hillary, and he stood at summit and remembered his friend and felt that he was with him always. Tenzing says below, all the hills and mountains looked like gods and goddesses to him. The plains below looked like so many broken pieces on the map. The summit was small, and only 2 or 3 people could stand there. There was snow on the northern side, rocks on the south and east, and snowy rock on the west. The climb down was more difficult and dangerous than the climb up. If you were not cautious and slipped, you would go into the Kangshung Glacier, and there would be no trace left of you. So, Tenzing's next thought was how to get down safely. Anyhow, Tenzing and Hillary got down and reached Camp 9, and after reaching, he thanked God that they have been spared by an accident. At Camp 9, Hillary and Tenzing were in no mood to talk. They were too tired. They boiled some snow to make lemon water and drank it. At Camp 8, they spent their night, and there were others who could see them. Those who were waiting at Camp 8 had made tea to welcome Hillary and Tenzing after their successful climb. In the excitement and hurry of the welcome, some kerosene had got into the cup without anyone realizing it. However, as Tenzing drank the tea, which smelt of kerosene, he understood the trouble that had been taken to bring the tea to them, and the affection behind it, and decided to enjoy it. Tenzing humorously calls it kerosene flavored tea. Hope this chapter is clear to everyone. So, dear children, You can surf the internet and find out the names of various mountaineers who have successfully climbed Mount Everest. You can also check out their struggles, their failures, and the message that we get from their lives. Thank you and stay safe.
For further updates of Dr. Asadullah Khan English High School and Junior College, don't forget to press the bell icon.